Hello. Just going to give everyone a couple of moments to join the session for today, and then I'll be explaining what I'm going to be doing as well. Welcome to everybody as well. Hi guys, thanks for joining as well. Hi Lauren, nice to see you. Antonia, shout out a few people. Lawrence, hi Lawrence, great, lovely. I'm going to crack on actually because we've got a lot to cover today in the next hour. Welcome to a half-head highlight section in technique using a classic foil application. I do have some music on in the background. Can you just pop your thumbs up to let me know that the volume is okay on that as well? That's really great. I'll just wait for those thumbs up. If it's too loud, I can just turn it down. It's just to be a little bit of background ambience as well for anyone that's joining, just to confirm that the music's great. Thanks, Brogan. Thanks guys, thank you. Okay, I'm going to get straight into it. Welcome to half-head highlights using classic application technique as well. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections on this technique. I'm going to explain my section in as well. I'm just going to take it off just for a moment. We have a full central back section that goes across the crown through to the opposite side of the ear, through to the other side. So that's a top section, like half circle if you will. 10 foils will be placed into there. We've got 2 side sections, a central side panel and then a side panel to cover the hairline. This technique is a straight up technique, so I'm going to be working straight up to the crown, straight up to the profile section. On this side section here, which covers the whole hairline on both sides, I am going to demonstrate some hairline lights in a diagonal back section as well. So I'll be talking you through those. We teach 2 methods at Michael John for classic highlights. We teach straight up. We also teach diagonal sections on our advanced programs as well. So typically you'll learn straight up first, then we'll teach you to put hairline highlights in using a diagonal technique. Then on level 3 advanced we use creative foiling patterns as well. But this is classic colour for today. So just to recap, central half circle at the back, like a half moon, 10 foils, approximately 10 to 12 foils either side as well. And then we've got a central profile section working through the top, which will work from front through to back. I'm going to pre-lighten today's hair using a pre-lightener with 6% 20 volume peroxide as well. Just to say actually, I would never section like this on a client. You would never place the hair over the face. I've only done that just to demonstrate the sectioning pattern for you today. You would obviously clip those away from your client's face. That's important to add. Again, it's about client experience as well. I've got approximately about 40 foils created for this technique. I've just knocked the ring light. Oh, please don't. As well, if it's gonna fall. Let's hope not. Pray for me, pray for me. Okay, so I'm going to turn the block around. I'm going to try and show you best I can as well. So each section is going to have 3 foils in the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10 as we go up to the top as well. I'm going to start with the side section to begin as well. I'm going to have to move my trolley slightly so I can demonstrate. There's going to be 3 foils. I'm going to start with the centre section first. That's probably about a foil's width for me as well. I work in very small, very fine sections, and we're doing a fine classic weave today. This is classic highlighting as well. So again, I hope that's a good section for you that you can see. I'm now going to perform a classic weave as well, which is approximately between 7 to 10 strands as shown. So it's a bobbing motion with the tail comb. That's what you're really looking for. A foil should never be any thicker than what we're seeing currently here right now. So it would never be any thicker than that. I'm using foil as my method of isolation today. I'm going to work on shiny side up and create a fold. This will then act as my locking technique, because what I'm going to do is turn that foil around and place the tail comb back underneath. The technique that I'm actually using today uses a backwards fold lock, and I will demonstrate that in just a few moments. Lift that section up, place down onto the hair, remove the tail comb when you're ready as well, so we can see it's nice and neatly applied. I've got a brand new clean tint brush I use from R, it's my favourite. I'm going to dip that into my lightener, no more than that. I'm going to work about 1 inch away from the root area to press that down. I'm going to take this all the way through on this technique. Once it's pressed away, I can lift away. What are you doing? Why are you doing it shine up? Does it matter? Yes, it does matter because you work on the matte side when applying colour techniques as well. Shiny side up always as well. It's just to work in a methodical way as well. But the reason why I actually applied the foil this way is because you'll see in just a few moments now, I'm actually just taking that product and I'm working it all the way down nice and even. Dependent on how thick the section is and how much lift you want will depend on how much product that you actually apply. But what you must consider is manufacturer's instructions and also the specific brand technique of how to apply that product as well is also an important factor. So I feel that that is enough product working through there. I've worked with a flat technique through to the mid-lengths and ends 1 inch away from the root. I'm now going to turn my brush onto its axis and then I'm actually going to balayage the strands at the root area. You need less product in this area because it's freshly keratinized hair. It's highly receptive as well. So again, I'm going to try and demonstrate this as much as possible, but I've got many opportunities to keep demonstrating this to you. You can see the brush stroke that I'm actually taking and I'm just balayaging it through. This creates a more softer approach at the root area as well. Again, I've got a slight section coming through there as well. And I also call it tickling the roots. Many people will remember that if you trained with me previously. But again, that's what I'm sort of looking for there. Nice and neat and nice neatly applied onto there as well. Again. So again, because I've been able to work in a very controlled fashion with the brush, I've just worked nice and neatly through there and I've created this really nice neat section as well. What I'll do is about halfway down is I'll then pull the foil either side with my finger and thumb to create a fold and that will fold it in half. I then just gently press the bottom of it together and that will fold it in place. My tail comb will then create another fold which will go about 3/4 of the way up as shown. I then take my comb, I will then press it down and it will firm up the foil to be stronger. This means that it will be less likely to move about. Any moving or any movement unnecessary to the technique could cause the actual section to bleed. Now, I've created a backwards fold technique. I refer to this as stabilizers or training wheels for foiling. When you're practicing your foil highlights and when you're learning, you can get bleeding or leakage, which is when the colour seeps from underneath here down onto this section. It can be as a result of not weaving close enough, not taking fine enough sections, not weaving evenly or applying too much colour. There's a variety of factors that you must consider. However, in this case, I've created this backwards fold from earlier. And what this now does, it now enables me to reposition this foil back to the roots, thus locking the lightener inside the foil. It's great if you are slightly unconfident on our learning. I teach this to all my learners. This is a technique that sometimes I use if I'm placing tint in between the hair as well. So you can see that is now the technique as well. And you can see if I lift that underneath as well, it's nice and tight to the root. So that's what I'm actually looking for there. So that is the first foil as well. I'm just going to work through, turning the head round slightly as we work through. Again, I'm going to take my next section. Again, I'm working in very small, very fine sections as well. We want a disbursement of colour. I'm not really looking for a back-to-back technique. I'm going to weave the hair. You are looking for even strands throughout, as you can see there as well. You'll be able to see on the foil as well. Check the underneath for any loose ends. You don't have to use this technique, but I just find that, again, using the backwards fold lock, so again, just folding that over onto the shiny side, turn around, place the tail comb back under, lift the section, place it into place, as shown. When you feel ready, remove it through. Again, nice clean tint brush. Apply the lightener 1 inch away from the root area. and then apply the remainder of the lightener down to the mid-lengths and ends. And then again, once you feel confident, you've applied enough lightener that's evenly distributed throughout, you will then balayage the root area. I use the balayage technique for this because I like gentle stroking action as well. I think it creates a soft blend of colour at the root area. You can go in as well, but you've got to be very gentle in your stroking movements at the root area to not over apply the colour at the root as well. Same as before, fold, press, fold, scrape to firm the foil up, lift, use the backwards fold from before to reposition the fold into place to eliminate any potential leakage, fold the sides in, and that's your next foil as well. There'll be one more slightly placed here, a little bit of a small section. I'm going to work this quite quickly before we move on to the next section. Just seeing, I hope that did answer your question about the shiny side up as well. Again, it's just to work totally methodically as well, so as you can see. I use two techniques. Sometimes I place my tail comb underneath to press it down. I also sometimes use my hand, as shown. It depends on where I'm working around the head as to what I feel is most comfortable for me to work with. But I use both. But again, some people just use one or the other. Much for muchness, really. Not really much in it, guys. Again, I'm just working that lightener straight through to the mid-lengths and ends. And then, again, touching that root area. Again, and you can see that would be the section there as well. Lovely. That's great. I'm just going to fold that up. Classic foils is one of my favourite things to do. I absolutely love doing it as well. I still think there's definitely room for classic colour techniques, even though balayage has really taken over the forefront of long hair colouring for many years now. I do love to balayage as well. Tomorrow, under our fashion colour series, you will see a balayage demonstration as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to work a little bit quicker through this technique now. Again, so another 3 foils. I'm going to start with the centre section and then work out. I'm spacing about 1 centimetre depth between each section as well. This is to allow for a disbursement of colour to be gradual. I don't want to overload the hair with highlights, but again, that's all really dependent on the technique that you're creating as well. So again, turn round, turn under, lift the section into place, remove the tail comb, apply the lightener 1 inch away from the root area, all the way down to the mid-lengths and ends. Again, and then balayage the roots with the brush on an angle, just stroking the strands that you've selected for highlighting. And this will give a soft immersion of colour. Can you tell me when you get to the area you would start a T section, please? Yes, next section up, actually. This next section. So I'm doing 3 foils here, Tracy. Good question. And then from this point, that's when I would start a T section as well. But T section overall has less foils in the front as well, so that is a consideration that you would need to factor in. I work on very, very small sections with my foiling. It was the way I was trained. Some people feel a little bit more comfortable taking bigger sections. Again, that's entirely up to you. However, please consider that you must take into account that you still need to get the colour right to the root area. So again, if the section's too thick, then you may not be able to get fully up to the root area. So that's as close as what you really want, really, as close as that, up to there as well. Hi Mark. As well, so again, just working 1 inch away from that root area. Once I feel it's actually secured into place, I then work the colour down to the mid-lengths and ends, and then again balayage the root area. Gentle stroking movements. You can press gently onto the hair and then push the colour down. That's an alternative technique as well, as shown again, as you can see. Nice and neat. Not too much colour on there. Lightener, sorry, in this case, as well, because I'm working with a very fine section. Thanks, you're welcome. That's great. Okay, fold in half, press down, fold once again, scrape, lift. You can see the actual fold, reposition to lock the foil into place as shown. Opposite side. I'm actually not stood in the position where I usually would be. I'd be stood directly in front of where you guys are. Again, so it can get quite challenging for me to, especially on this opposite side as well. I will try and insert this foil the best I can whilst demonstrating the technique. So again, turn the foil around because it will act as the lock. Take the section down 1 inch or 1 centimetre, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Work the lightener all the way down to mid-lengths and ends in this instance, in this case. But again, you may just be doing a regrowth application. And now I'm going to balayage through the strands to create that soft immersion of colour. Like that. It's delicate brush. Is the live video going to... Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be available from the next 24 hours as well. So for those that are joining that may have missed the first part in terms of sectioning pattern, it will be available for the next 24 hours, this live session as well. That's great. So again, exactly the same technique as before. So this is where the T section would start, typically. I'm going to place 2 foils in this top section and just 1 foil in the top. I'm mindful of time, so I want to really make sure that I can show you all the sections in this technique. But again, when it actually comes to foil placement, really, you need to really sort of factor in what's going to actually work for your client in terms of placement. You know, what we're learning here is a fundamental technique, and that's what all hairdressers learn. You learn fundamental techniques which vary from salon to salon and academy to academy. What makes a good hairdresser great is the ability to take those techniques and create something that has an artistic impression of. So that's what we're aiming to do. What we actually want to do is take techniques like this and apply our own spin on it. And that's where the artistry of colour will come from as well. So alternating the sectioning technique, creating something that's individual and bespoke for your client as well. Again, I'm just balayaging that root area through. Once I've worked through that section. Again, that soft immersion of colour from the regrowth area. And again, just make sure I've really neatly worked that through. I'm going to fold this section in half. I'm going to fold in half again. I'm going to lift this section up. I'm going to press it close to the root. And then I can isolate the section at the sides again. So that nice, neat box fold as well. I'm going to try and tilt the head back, actually, slightly. Hi, guys. So, hi everybody. As well, this might help, actually, if I just do the right. Hi, Summer. Thanks for joining us today. As well, just one section here, guys. As well. Oh, knocked my foil there slightly. So I'll just reposition that if that happens. Again, weave. Evenness of weave is a factor that you must consider as well. So you want to consider that into the actual technique as well. So fold, position into place. We recommend the backwards fold technique if you was to opt to do a tray test in your salon. And particularly when it comes to EPA, we recommend the backwards fold lock because it actually really ensures that you secure the foil at the root area to minimise the risk of leakage and bleeding. Many of my learners are currently taking my Advanced Skills Academy classes, well they were before we went into partial closure as well. So again, I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to balayage that section in. And again, this was one of the techniques that we're actually working on currently. Again. And then just fold through. Unlock the foil. Typically I'd use this if I was doing tint and lights as well. So again, and I'm just going to place one more foil here because I do want to progress on a little bit quicker because I want to show you the front sections as well. And I need to keep moving my block. I'm going to move it slightly towards me because that will help me place in the foil. I hope you can see that there. Okay, so I'm just taking this top section. I am leaving quite a distance in spacing as well. I used to be a really big fan of back-to-back highlighting, but over the years I found that trends have changed with the introduction of balayage into the mainstream as well. So I find that more spacing between highlights is not only more commercially viable because again we're putting in less colour, less time as well, but I find that the technique is overall more flattering. I'm going to place the foil underneath, just using my hand on this section because I'm finding it's more comfortable in terms of my body position as well. I do use both techniques, tail comb and hand as well. Again, I just place that through. I'm happy with the fact that the foil is in place, so now I can work through to the mid-lengths and ends. And then I can just balayage that root area through. So you can balayage like this, tipping it through to blend that line, or you can go straight on, press and then run. If you do this technique, it does have more risk of bleeding because you are applying slightly a bit more colour. I would recommend the softer, more balayage stroking movements at the root area. But again, it's different strokes for different folks. I would recommend to try both and also any others. Well, try everything you could possibly get your hands on when you're hairdressing because I do find that it is different strokes for different folks and different techniques do apply. So again, you can see I'm really pushing that back through on that technique there, and I'm going to isolate these side sections of the foil. And again, that's my box fold. Okay, I'm going to move on to the front section now. I'm going to pop her head back up because she's she's quite sort of over. Hi, Halo, thanks for joining us again as well. So again, I'm going to go straight through to these diagonal sections. I've taken a side section. I'm going to place diagonal highlights in here. This is one of our advanced techniques as well. So again, I'm going to try and demonstrate this to you best angle I possibly can. I'm going to take this section and clip it away as well. I'm going to move her slightly. There we go. I'm going to take this section now. I'm going to move that away, but still keeping it in its place. I'm going to take these sections away. Divide this into two, because it will be two sections. And then, again, take the hairline light. This would complement the hairline as well, this light. It would go diagonally back in that section there as well. I'm just going to take that section now. I'm going to weave it on the diagonal back section. I am creating a nice even spacing between that light. That's important, particularly on the hairline, because if you don't, you'll end up with a block of colour and it can look very unflattering as well. So again, hi Paige, thanks for joining us. Paige Fitzgerald there, lovely. Again, placing the highlights in at the root area. I'm using my hand to position it at this stage, can you see? The reason why I don't use a tail comb here is because I don't want to press it onto the client's face as well. But again, that's personal preference. I then take some lightener, I paste it on and through, so it'll actually stick out like that, can you see? And then I'll work through to the mid-lengths and ends, and then I'll balayage the roots, exactly the same as before. That would be my hairline light. You can put one or two foils in at the hairline, as well, depending on how much immersion of colour you actually want, coming from the hairline as well. This is great for clients that wear the hair up a lot as well, because they're going to get those beautiful, very structured highlights coming through as well. I'm just going to fold that through. Fold once more. Press that down, make it nice and firm. Lift back up. Reposition my foil into place. And now I can fold my foil to isolate the section. So again, that's going to be nice and neat all the way through that section there. I'm going to put one more just at the side. Usually I typically work two back as well, but I just want to show you all of this technique in the time. I'm mindful of time as well. So again, that section there. They're a little bit more curved on a blockhead, so for those that have not tried this technique, trust me, it fits very nice and snugly into 99.9% of human hairlines as well, so don't worry about. It's also a little bit more fiddly on a block. Doing it. Hi Shell, hi, you okay? Does your block have a name? No, but we can name her. Does anyone have a name for her? What should we call her? What we name as well. So again, I'm not using my tail comb to hold the section in place because I don't want to press it onto her face. Can you see? So it's isolating her face away as well, and I'm working through the mid-lengths and ends. And then I'm just going to balayage the root area. Gentle brush stroking motions, just to work on that root. There we go. Shellerina! Yeah, let's call her Shellerina. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Shellerina the ballerina. As well, and I'm just going to fold this up. Nice and strong. Good scraping action. Don't be afraid to be strong there. You've got to get that foil to be firm, and I'm just going to reposition this back into place. Again, one more foil could go in at that diagonal section there, and I'm going to leave that for today as well, because I feel like that, because I'm going to demonstrate it again on the opposite side as shown. You can see those are diagonals. We'll now go straight up on the next section as well. Once we get to the other side, we'll get a good clear demo action of this, because I'll be working on the opposite side. I'm going to place about 5 or 6 foils in here. I'm going to space them out again. I do want to create that nice spacing between the technique again, but it really depends on the colour effects that you want to create. However, even sections throughout and even weave are key to all techniques. Again, just place that through. I'm lifting the section up and I'm placing the foil into place. When I do this, I twist the hair slightly before I put my thumb on it as well. That helps me hold it in place. I then paste that hair down into place so it won't move. Work the product to the mid-lengths and ends, and then work up to the root area, balayaging the very tip as well, to ensure that I don't go over as well. A slight bit on there, don't worry if that happens, you can wipe that away, you have time. Again, fold that through, as shown. Fold once more, lift the section up, and again, fold back into place. And I'm just going to fold that foil either side to really make sure it's nice and secure as well, as shown. There we go. As well. A few foils through this section now. Again, I'm going to turn this slightly more towards me. I'm going to weave. These sections just go straight up to the central profile. Fold. Place the foil underneath, hold into place with your thumb or your tail comb, whichever is more comfortable for you. Work the section through. I'm speeding up slightly now so you can see it in a more commercial style as well. It possibly take me half of the highlights, looking between 30 to 45 minutes in a salon commercial time as well. Just depends on hair length, thickness, density. It would be a 45-minute appointment with myself as well. I'm just working through that section. I literally want to go back to work. Yeah, I know, I'm itching to do some falls right now. How much would you charge for this and the amount of balayage? I think prices vary depending on what salon you're in and your local area. Great question as well. Before actually coming back to educate for Michael John, I was working in London, so London prices, you know, it wasn't cheap. Half of the highlights started at 130, and then you add your colour application services afterwards, toning, blow drying, treatments, X, Y and Z. But again, it really depends on your local area, what you're actually sort of charging as well. I'm just working that section through there, as we can see. A week booked off work and turned into a full month and a bit. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, if you had a week off first, yeah, I didn't think of that. Wow. Yeah, no, we're all going to be itching to get back to work, back to our clients. I'm itching to get back to teaching and work with the team, but we've been extremely busy at Michael John, keeping in touch with you guys and working on resources as well, so that's great as well. So again, nice even weave throughout. So again, lifting that section through as well. Again, I'm just going to use my tail comb now, because I find that's going to give me the strongest hold into that place. And again, for you, that's if I was to use my tail comb to hold the section. Again, working a little bit more faster through the technique now. Again. And then I'm just sort of highlighting that area through there as well. Fold that section through. I gently pinch at the bottom. Don't be too firm until you've got the double fold. Release the section underneath and then lock back into place. I am using my section clip to take my next section. As well. I do find this technique is a little bit more commercial, but again, it depends what your salon prescribes really as well. I do both. Sometimes I use my tail comb, sometimes I use my thank you for keeping our artistic emotions alive. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. Thank you so much. I really hope that people are feeling inspired from our sessions as well. We've got so many more planned. We've been having a lot of planning meetings. We do want to keep you inspired. We know it's a troubling time for all of us, and we want the community. I think it's so amazing what's happening in our community right now. We're coming together, we're educating, we're empowering one another as well through education and through knowledge as well, and I think that's just wonderful. That's great. So again, thank you so much. We aim to continue to inspire you as well. Again, nice neat fold as well. Just taking that section, reposition it through, and then I know that's locked into place, and I can feel a little bit more confident about the technique that I'm actually working on today as well. So again, last foil for this side as well. I probably... Oh, no, I'm quite happy with the spacing between these foils. I do want to encourage nice even spacing. It depends really, you know, if this client, let's say what we're working on base 5, and you know, if she wanted to start going lighter, you know, she had blonde ambition, let's say, you know, I might think, you know what, I'm going to back-to-back it. I'm going to, you know, pump up the colour now and really get there in terms of really creating that sort of vibe. I did a twist on this longer section through here, which basically means I twisted the colour back onto itself, and that lifted the section into place, so you can see it's actually lifted up through there as well. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side, and then we're going to work through the top section as well. Again, so I'm just sort of lifting through that section through there and through there as well. I'm going to take these sections here. I'm going to just move this over to this way now, because I'm going to work through to the opposite side. Again, so as you can see, that's the technique, the diagonals. And you can see quite even spacing throughout there. Hairdressers are really coming together. When they used to be always competitive, I prefer companionship and helping one another. Me too, well said. Here, yeah. There has been that competitiveness for a number of years, hasn't there? You know, and I feel it's so amazing that we are coming together like this, and we're celebrating one another, we're supporting one another. Michael John has aimed to support hairdressers for the past 37 years, and it's amazing that we're seeing other salons supporting other salons where, yes, typically, you know, we'd be in a little bit more competition with one another. You know, a bit of rivalry is always good as well. Just came back. Yeah. So as you can see, I've got my diagonal section here. This is going to really complement the hairline as well. I'm just going to take that section one more time, just to create that nice even wave through there as well. That's going to really complement those hairline lines as well. Yeah, I will do that. Absolutely as well. So as you can see there as well, just twist that section through. Again, I'm working about 1 inch away, can you see? And then making sure that's nice and pressed into place as well. Once it's pressed into place, you can then work the colour through to the mid-lengths and ends, and then begin to balayage through the root area to create that soft immersion of colour as well. You need approximately about half of the amount of colour at the root area than you do anywhere else, because again, this hair is new, so its keratin is still soft. Down towards the mid-lengths and ends, its keratin is harder because it's been exposed to oxygen for longer as well. And then lift up, and then just push straight down. Isolate the section through. You tend to find these diagonal sections fit much neater into an actual human head as well. So I'm just going to work one at this side as well. Again, so you can see my section in here. I'm just going to move that section through, and these will complement the hairline lovely as well. But we teach two techniques. We teach straight up and we teach diagonals. We begin with straight up sectioning because I find it's much more easier to learn that way. Then we go into diagonals, then we go into patterns as well. So we talk a lot about that sectioning patterns, and that comes more in your level 3 program as well. Again, so we're just working through that section, and again, just neatly balayaging that root area. Again, that soft immersion of colour through there as well. Again, just fold half and then half again as well. Lift up the section, press it down firmly into place, and then isolate the sides, and then that locks the foil as well. Straight up all the way through the top, and then I'm going to take you through to the central profile section, which again, classic sectioning right now as well. I'm just going to try and move my block a little bit more towards me as well. Just want to do a quick time check. Yeah, we're doing okay. That's great. Okay, so I'm working through that section there as well. So again, I'm working down at the hairline as well, so bear that in mind. Evenness of weave is extremely important. So for those of you that are still practicing your foiling techniques as well, everyone coming in with roots halfway down their head. Yeah, I know. I think everyone's going to be really, really busy in salons as well. Again, just turning this round, placing the foil underneath as well, using my hand to position the foil into place, not my tail comb because I'm working around the ear. I find that sometimes pressing the foil around the ear sometimes can be uncomfortable for the client as well. Foil can be quite sharp as well, so if you're ever pressing it down onto the skin, just be cautious really as well, because it can be a little bit uncomfortable for the client as well. But again, we've all got slight differences in our techniques. Practice, practice, practice will help you refine yours as well. So this is fundamental highlighting that we teach at the Academy as well. And I'm currently teaching my learning group, which comes to me on a Monday. Say hi, any of my Monday gang. I know Tracy, you was on a few minutes ago as well. We've been working downstairs in our lower ground space as well, with our blockheads going through our Advanced Academy training. Again, and just really pinch and pull to separate that section apart as well. And then nice and even section. High as well. Again, turn that foil round so the fold is underneath. Place the section into place. I'm using my hand to position the foil. All the way through. I did a press technique at that root area. Again, so there's two different ways that you can apply colour at the roots. Again, if you get any on the top, just wipe off. Fold, fold, scrape, lift, position, fold the sides. Fold through as well. Hey Tracy, thanks for saying hey. As well, yeah, so I know I've been working with Tracy and Lydia as well. Michael John's first mother-daughter team. Learners. We already have a mother-daughter directors. Now we've got mother-daughter learners as well. It's been a pleasure to teach you all as well. Hi Jade, it seems like you joined our group today. I think I've got a few of your learners in here as well. So again, I'm just really working on holding the section into place, pressing that down as well. I'm working about 1 inch away from the root, and then just work that all the way down to the mid-lengths and ends. And again, just really balayage through, gentle stroking motions at the root area. Again, we can sort of see that working through here as well. So that's great. Lovely as well. Just really pressing, gentle pressing just at the ends to create that fold, and then scrape across, lift up. And again, look, can you see, sometimes it can move around a little bit. So again, that fold is really going to help to lock it in place as well. And that's what you want. You want that clean, precision foil right through there, as you can see, nice and neat as well. Nice neat foils as well. Try and get them as neat as possible. Everybody's slightly different. No, you won't all necessarily work to the same method. You know, I've worked with some people. Their foils would frighten me, but the end result absolutely spectacular as well. So everybody's slightly different. Even on foils, you know, a classic technique like foiling can be placed in such a creative way as well. I'm going to use my tail comb at this point to position the hair into place, and you can see that there. Again, working the colour 1 inch down, lightener in this case, lightener, again, and then just work through to the mid-lengths and ends as well. The foil runs off the edge of the the hair runs off the edge of the foil. When you find that, just take your foot and then just flip it back like that. What you'll find then is the hair will flip back onto itself, and then you can apply the lightener through to the mid-lengths and ends. Return to the root area to perform the balayage technique. to create that soft immersion of colour. And just really focus on creating that soft light there as well. Probably, I might just be cheeky and put 2 more foils in this side as well. Again, spacing between foils is vital to the success of the technique as well. So consider your spacing throughout. And spacing must be consistent as well. So that's a key factor to consider when highlighting hair as well. Some of you will have seen the colour quiz that we put on today. Hope you've been enjoying it as well. Just some interesting questions that I found. Just for fun today, guys, we are going to be looking at some of the answers. I was having a look earlier. Well done. You've all done really well on them. If you've been sitting the quiz. Again, just fold through, lift underneath, press down. And then just really work that colour through that area there. And then down to the mid-lengths and ends as well. There we go. Again. Unfold. Last fold for the top section before I work through to the final central profile. The central profile will work across the parting. This technique, particularly with a central profile section, will be ideal for those that are wearing a centre parting. So one of the considerations in terms of highlight placement is where does the client wear their parting? Now, if they wear their parting in a multiple different places, say like they flip their hair, which is, very common for a lot of women, to flip it from one side then to another side as well, because you get great volume with that that technique as well. I would probably do a herringbone technique, a herringbone highlight, and by that I mean I would work all the sections diagonally back. This would give me a softer placement of colour than straight up technique as well. We teach that on our advanced course. Our advanced course is herringbone highlights as part of one of our creative placement techniques as well. So again, final section there, you can see that colour working all the way through. Evenness of application of colour is important for the success of this technique. Fold that down as well. So again, I've scenarioed that mine, this will be blow dried to a centre parting once toned. I'm aiming for about a base level 7 lightness as well. You can see this technique, this side is now complete as well. Again, you can see from the front as well. Yeah. Just going to remove these clicks now. They're no longer necessary. I'm now going to be working through that central panel, which is located there as well. Usually I would ask my lady to lower her head slightly as I work through this section as well. So you want to work through it. You've got to still make sure that you're nice and even with your sectioning, but naturally as well we're working across the head, so the client has to face me slightly as well. And I'm going to be working some highlights through. They just go straight across and straight back as well, so I'm going to try and turn that a little bit more towards you. But it's difficult for me to get that foil in as well. So again, lift up through. I never place the foils down onto, so I would never put my foil underneath and press it down onto the face. I would always use my hand. I would lift up, twist the hair and press my thumb in place to hold it. I would then apply my lightener or colour, press it onto place like that, and then work through to the mid-lengths and ends and balayage the roots as normal. The haircut on this block is a disconnected invisible layer. It's actually layered shorter underneath and it's longer on top as well. Only half of it's cut like that, the other half didn't because it was part of a demonstration class. I was doing a workshop on a number of weeks ago for level 3 as well. So next week I will actually be doing this full haircut, an invisible layer on a bob length shape as well. So that will be next week in next week's schedule, which will be published over the weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for next week's schedule. You'll also be notified of it as well via your assessor as well. Similar spacing as to before as well. I'm mindful of time because this session will end shortly in about 9 minutes if my timing is totally accurate as well. So I'm just going to work about busy week for you. Enjoyed your chat, reckon? Fabulous. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you'll be seeing Lawrence again. It has been a really busy week. Thank you. Yeah, I've not really sort of stopped as well. So again, I'm going to place my my hand underneath. Yeah, busy week. Lawrence will be joining us again as well. So very soon. We are discussing right now what he's going to teach you next as well. He's so fabulous, is Lawrence. He's an amazing hairdresser and has so much to offer. I have already convinced him to do a visit to Manchester once we're all back to the academy. We would love to invite all year groups down to a special event for that as well, and employers as well, for some special training with Lawrence as well. So very excited about that as well. So yeah, it was great as well. Just working straight back up through to the back of the parting. Naturally, I would develop this in sections, so I know that most likely my back section now is ready for removal. So I would be rinsing these sections piece by piece. His makeup application is amazing too. Yes, it is actually. I will make sure he knows that. As well, so again, just work through about an inch away and then just work through. If you're just doing the regrowth application, again, you would just I would typically work a pressing technique. I would press the lightener or tint into place and then add balayage to blend it. Again, so press on and balayage through, just to create that soft immersion of colour at the root, which is what I typically tend to like with any technique as well. Again, so I'm just pressing that down, pressing it through. Relaxing. Again. I just have to flip that section back onto itself. And then just balayage the root to blend that colour in. Seems like a really nice day. Well, I'm very much looking forward to, and I think as well, let's talk about highlights, let's talk about balayage. I think a lot of our clients, when they get back to us, I think they're going to be asking, I think everyone's going to be so ready for these new summer trends. They're going to be ready to I think, again, you know, let's put a little bit more face framers in. Let's put a little bit more balayage in. Let's put a little bit more highlights in this time. You know, so I think clients are going to want to go lighter again, absolutely, as well. So again, section, fold, underneath, lift, press down into place, remove the tail comb. Press the lightener 1 inch away, approximately from the root area. Work down to the mid-lengths and ends. flip the section back up onto itself so it fits into the foil. Balayage through the root area very gently to create that soft immersion of colour from the root area. Fold. Fold again. Scrape. Lift. Backwards fold. Lock. Press into the sides. Last couple of foils. My hour is nearly up on live. I'm trying to get this all finished so I can develop and tone and dry. That's what will happen next. You'll see me come back in around about, once I've finished these last four, so I'll be back in about an hour's time once I've toned it, and you'll be looking to get me around about, I'd say 5:15, 5:20, and I'll be back once I've dried and styled it, because I'm going to develop it to get it to a base 8. And so I'm looking for at least 3 shades left as well. And then I'm going to tone using 8.1 Velvet Silk with colour releaser as well. And then I'm going to just dry it to a really soft wave just to sort of really show off the colour as well. And then I'll come back on the live so we can have a little bit of an inspection of what we've created today as well. So yeah, so be just very mindful of losing you in about 3 minutes time, I believe. I have been timing this live as well. Oh, it's like speed foiling all over again. It's like my next client's here. Next client's here, Craig. She's in a rush. Can you roll me up? Like, yes, I'll be with you in a moment, madam. Like being back in salon. I love that buzz of a Saturday of clients after clients. I'm sure many of us are missing that right now. But we'll be back before we know it. And again, if any of you need to chat about anything, we're here for you. And we can help you get to the advice that you might be needing. If maybe it's something we don't necessarily specialise in, we have a whole host of agencies we know of and network with as well. So again, we're here to support you. Two more foils. That's great. I'm about to lose you, I think, but thanks to those. I'll say my thanks now. Thanks to those who have been watching this session. I'll be back at around about, I'd say about 5:15, 5:20, to show you the actual final finished result as well of these half head highlights using a straight up and diagonal pattern. Okay, and yeah, you can sort of see how we kind of finished off the technique as well. Trust me to be one foil out before finishing as well. That's great. My 1 minute timer has not started on the screen yet. These Instagram live sessions have been an education for me actually as well. I've never done it before until this happens, but I think it's a great way to get that education out there to everybody, and we're very excited that we're able to contribute. Last foil over the parting of the back, over the crown as well. Nice and neat. Consistency is key throughout the technique. Just working through that section there. Just working and blending that into the root. Final section, down to the mid-length and ends. Flip that last bit of light up, balayage that root. Through section, nice even application of the lightener from mid-lengths to ends, slightly less at the root area. Fold, okay. Okay, I have 14 seconds remaining on this live session. Thanks to those that have been watching. This is the half head highlights technique. I'll be back at 5:15 once I've developed it, I've toned it. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, see you at 5:15. Take care.